so it's completely up to you.
Side.
The hardest side to do. You right-handed, right?
Yes.
It's gonna start off like, how the fuck is mine about to look like this?
Right.
It's gonna look like yours, and you'll get a list of everything.
Right.
So like the colors we use, where it go, like where it's used at, type. Good at all skin tones.
Okay.
And that's what I like to pay attention to, is what they doing.
Okay, great.
And I'm even see like brushes and everything. So of course with the brows, you definitely want to kind of brush them up and out the way. And you literally just outlining your brow. You want to stay right at the hairs. You just outlining it, and that's what give you that crisp line. And not like way down here or way up there. You literally see where I'm like right at your eyebrow. All we doing is making this line crisp. And following the shape. You see how I'm kind of lightly and keep going back over it. It don't have to be super heavy. It don't have to be super dark or thick. You literally just lining your brow. It's easier for you. You won't be able to fix it, I promise you. Just tell me where. You kind of hold it like this though a little bit so you can get the tip. See, you couldn't even do that bad.
Why you always lying? Oh my God.
Most people, girl, they
don't know nothing about makeup.
But watch, you're gonna be able to fix it. You're doing the same at the top. The same exact thing at the top. And from there, you just fill it in. I start at the tail. It's really no right or wrong. You see, it's just like, it don't have to be super dark, because when you conceal it, you go very light towards the front. Just brush it. Don't have to be super dark, because once you conceal it and clean it up, it's gone. Very lightly. I just trace it. You don't want to try to not go into the hairs. Stay kind of on that line, but you just lightly, little pieces at a time. This is where you really want to take your time. I like to use the very tip of the brush for the most part. Bring it down a little bit just because it's going to be easier to blend without messing it up. I mean, personally, like if you was doing just brows and lashes, you definitely don't want to bring it down. I mean, it's too much product. This is just like when you're doing the face, because you basically starting your base for your eyeshadow. I'm going to give myself some, so I ain't so shaky. And I use the side of the brush as my straight. It do take practice. All for it. I like to do it in pieces because I have more control versus trying to all the way across. You know, eventually your hands start to give out.
Yeah.
So I like to do the front or the tail first, and then go back and do the other part, and then just connect it. And this is where you want to kind of see that vision of what I want my brow to look like. So that's where you doing your arch. That's where so you kind of got to visualize. But me personally, I go with the natural brow. So that's why we outline your brow. That way it's a lot easier for you to just go with the shape of what your brow is. Once you get advanced, you can kind of draw them in different ways, change it up. But I like a more, it ain't as easy as it look.
I know it's going to take me some time.
So you know, on this side, you want to kind of meet somewhere up and where this one at, and somewhere up and where this one at. Just line the hairs. You just kind of want to keep it straight wherever you got little dips. Kind of want to, and it's a very light. It's literally just pushing it down. You don't got to go up into the brow, just the edges. That way you can see your line. I like to blend in between each one. Start at that same line and just bring it down just a hair. So I use the same concealer all the time that we use under, and this will be for eyeshadow base. You can use an eyeshadow base. I personally think they're pointless unless I'm using it for a specific reason. And you literally just patting it on the eye. It ain't no specific way. Just make it smooth. That's all you're doing is making it smooth. You just patting it everywhere. And use the flat of the brush. So yep. You patting just like a little flick or swipe, or you just patting it all over, making everything smooth. I think we're done.
So we use an eyeshadow now?
Yep. With a natural look, I just use a brown, and you literally just pat. I start low, and this is really a bronzer. You can use any kind of brown, and it's just a set. You cannot use eyeshadow. You can just set it with powder. However you want to do it. I like to use brown because it brings warmth to the eye. And you just start low. I like to pat most of the product low, and just kind of swipe a little bit as I go up. Swipe or a circle, however you want to do it. We just kind of blending it out, and it just brings a little warmth, and it kind of tone down that concealer a little bit too. So if you ever use one that's too light, which you'll have all your colors or anything like that, and your concealer will usually be light, usually about 2 shades lighter than your skin, and swipe to kind of get your product off of the brush. And like I said, when I do this part, I like to use a fluffy brush, if you can see the difference in the brushes. So this one was a little more firm. The one we was blending out, that one more fluffy. So you definitely want to play around with your brushes. The brush, definitely good for blending. The denser the brush, definitely good for packing. The question is, do you feel, or do you want to learn, or how come? Because you got lashes on, so it's going to be way harder, like way more. And my brows and eyes, I like to do all that first before I do my face. That way if I mess anything up and I have to wipe it off, start over, or anything like that, I don't have a whole face to fix. Start at the end, and I just draw a line. And you wanted the line to kind of, yeah, I did it very light. You want your line to kind of mimic the bottom of your...
So wait. You didn't do the whole eye?
No.
I thought people be doing I don't know.
That's this, you know? So you want to kind of match it with your bottom line.
I thought the lashes come on last, like the whole makeup.
No, yeah, so you matching it with your bottom lash line.
Oh, your real lash.
Like this lash line. So the angle that your bottom lid is going is the way you want your liner to go. So yeah, so you just kind of want to angle. Do it straight, like a little angled line. You just use a little makeup remover. You can start from the front. Some people start all the way from the front here and just draw all the way out and then connect it. Keep it closed for me just for a second, just so my eyes can dry. Skin prep. This is the only thing that you have to do in order. You always moisturize before you prime. Yes. And it's real soft and gentle.
So scared of my face after that year.
Yeah. And there's no right or wrong. You just rub that in like lotion.
Or down here.
Yeah. Just all over your face. Just, you don't want to mess your brows up. And I put some up here too. You just want to moisturize your face. Just make it soft. Primers. I will send you a bunch of different primers. There is a million of them. I will show you like what's the difference, and I will send you a bunch of them. It's all based on your skin. What you use primers for is what you need it for. So if you got oily skin, you want to use a mattifying primer. If you got good skin, you can use a regular primer or a hydrating primer. If your skin is dry, you can use a sticky primer if you just wanted your makeup to last all day and just grip to it. You don't really got no oily. Me personally, this is the one thing I definitely play around with. I have so many. I mix them. So I get oily, so I like to use a matte one, but I also use a grip one.
So you put both of them?
I put both of them on. And then there's poreless ones if you don't really have pores. But I'll show you like how they feel and what's the difference. But I'll show you. You got good skin, and we always just use regular ones on you. So if you feel that one, that's a poreless one. You see how like thick it feels? But it dries matte, as you see. It kind of, you'll see it in a second how it kind of like make it look dry. But this one is not a poreless. It's more like a lotiony feel. But when it dries, it also dries matte. And this one is a sticky one. This is one of my favorites, especially on like people. You rub it and feel like jelly. If you give it a second, it's gonna get real tacky. A hydrating one is just going to be more or less almost like lotion. Also, for what you need it for. So if you need to be a little matte, if you want to look dewy and shiny today, you'll use a dewy one. So there's so many. This is something you can play around with. And I feel that it should be getting a little tacky. I feel how it gets sticky. I'll send you like the ones I usually use on you and like universal ones. You know, just, and this you also just rub on the same. So this is you just putting it where you plan to put foundation there. You just put your foundation on top. So from there, this is what grips your foundation. Like I said, just create the barrier between your foundation. You know me, I'm a spreader. I always spread your foundation out. And it's just because you use less. Like that one little dot just covered this whole part of your face. I was sending you your colors, but if you ever like in a store or something, I always like to match here. Also, me personally, I will send you both that I'm using because I like to buy one that's lighter and one that's close. Because you know your skin change.
Weather, right?
With the weather. So I like to have both because a lot of times you might be in between and you can mix them, spread it. Like I said, with spreading it, this calls for less blending because you already got to spread it out. So now when you blend, all you're doing is just patting it in. That's it. Only down here where you kind of want to swipe, just so you can blend your neck and so you don't have no line. But really, once you do that, you really just patting it. Get close to the brow. I like to go back and kind of, you don't have to go real close, but I like to line the brow so that way I know I ain't got to go up there and get real close to that brow because we just put in all that work.
Right.
So I don't want to have to pat real close and mess it up, so I can stay up here. You also, you know, of course, want to put here a little bit. And here, the only place you don't want to put foundation is right up under your eyes. Okay. So make sure you get here, your chin, your nose, pretty much across here. Kind of get up in here. I like to mix a little, but I use mainly your color. But I mix it just a little bit, just. So you're gonna send me both the colors and tell me which one is my color? Line up, really just pushing it in, but you also blending it at the same time. So this, you just want to make sure it's smooth. You ain't got no weird lines or creases.
And then down here, I just want to go like this.
Yep. I like to use the same. This is the same brush. We patted everything out before. I like to use it for the same because the more brushes, the more you gotta wash. And with concealer, you really just put it right up under. It ain't no right or wrong. Some people
put dots. So we just use two different things?
Yep. That was foundation. This is concealer. So concealer, highlight. Foundation is your skin tone. The concealer, this is the same concealer we used up under your brow. So this go up under your eye. Do a little bit right here. And go down the bridge of your nose and under your eye. There's no right or wrong. You definitely want to don't bring it down too far. Don't go no past your nose. Some people do like just a couple dots. I feel like it's more blend in. I like to put it in the space where I know I'm gonna use it, so that way it's easier to blend. Your list when I say concealer.
Should I be light?
It's not really a difference, to be honest. If the lighter you are, probably the more you're gonna have to pat outside and down the bridges. I had this powder. It's like $30-something. I had it for like a whole year before I ever even started using it. This, with the powder, this is, I'm gonna tell you, loose powder versus pressed powder. Where it go, loose powder, you set your concealer. Pressed powders, you set your foundation. Pressed powder is gonna be the same color of your foundation. This is gonna be the color of your concealer. So I like to use the same sponge. If you notice, I use a lot of the same product, and I like to just dab it off a little bit. This is how you can. This is where your contrast between you just press it into where you put it. It's gonna look a little ashy at first. Those you wanna just keep it in the center, and it's the same. You just pat.
I'm saying here.
It don't have to be perfect, like I said. So you definitely want to.
I don't feel like I be bad.
Yep, you want to press it a little hard because you're pressing it in because you want to set that concealer so it don't crease up on you. If it do crease, you want to go back in. You're going to set it. From there, I don't cream contour. A lot more easier to just use a powder bronzer. Less blending, less work. And this, I'll send you these. This one is a little pricey, but any warm brown shade that's a little darker than your skin tone gonna do the trick. I use eyeshadow sometimes. I mix and match. A lot of stuff in makeup, you can use for multiple different things. So if you find something that's dark, and you see how these kind of warm burgundies, oranges look good on that. So you just really, I use the angle of the brush, and you see we just keeping this right up under your cheekbone, not down too far. You don't want to bring it too far. You don't want to droop it. So you want to just kind of, so when, I like to pat it on first, and then kind of just flick up a little bit if you need to blend it. That's if you like put a little too much on, or you need to blend it out. Always blend it up. Wherever you want to look bigger, you want to use more concealer. So if you got a real big forehead, you're going to use a very little concealer to none, because it's going to make it look bigger. You want to use a more dark, more bronzer, contour to make it look smaller. So you want your cheekbone to be defined. You want that to kind of look like it's in. You see how this one kind of, your face look a little bigger on that side than it, because we use the shadow to snatch it in. Then the nose is the same. When you do that with the nose, you're making the nose look smaller. So the darker make it look smaller, the bright make it look bigger. And like you could, some people put concealer on the chin. I didn't personally teach you that because you have more like an oval face. It will make your chin look longer. So like me with a round face, I can do it because it'll elongate it and make it look ideal oval. You already got the perfect round face. Well, yours more almost like a heart face. And just go down the side of the nose. I like the soft contour. You know, the more you do it, the more snatch it's gonna look. But you see the difference now how you use the angle of the brush. See. And you want to start, see how I angle this way? Your ear to here. So you start in here and going, like you always want to start more or less, like your angle is going to be from your ear down. Yeah.
Until she stopped like right here?
Yep, kind of like more or less like here.
Okay.
Some people bring it all the way in. It's how you want your face shape to be. And as you do it more, you're going to be able to see how it start to change your face. So the more you do it, the more you're going to be like, okay, when I bring it all the way here, or when I cut it, I look more stronger. So I literally mix everything, because when I use one, it'd be a little too dark sometimes. And I like the warmth from this one, but then I like how this one is not so.
And you said break it up a little bit.
And then you want to go kind of like around your temple.
Should I go deeper or?
You can, but because you already got edges and stuff and the way your hair is, you don't really have to go all the way across. Like if you had a hairstyle that made your forehead look big, you're going to be like, okay, now I want to go all the way across. But the way your hair is, you will be perfectly fine. Angle, and you just rub it down just the side.
Like that?
Yep. And if you feel like that's, for instance, a little too snatched for you, you can always go back in and blend. You just, if you want it super snatched, use a smaller, like a little eyeshadow brush and do it. So this is a pressed powder. This one is the same color as your foundation. Same color as the foundation. And this ain't no right away. You just pat this where all the places you didn't just put powder. You also can use this, like let's say for instance you got a little too much or it's a little bit too light up here. You can use it to dust away that extra powder or darken it up a little bit, tone it down a little bit. But you just pretty much just setting down your foundation in place. And you can use it to blend like your edges. This one, you're going to be like real quick. Just don't forget your top lip, because I always forget the top lip. And you just really just pat it. It ain't no right or wrong, it's just a pat. Some people, you see, kind of miss the top of your lip.
Okay.
Whenever you want to, because it'd be hard to find shit nowadays. But they like 3 for $5 on Amazon.